meters under 20 women's race. And they start off with 2 long laps over 1500 meters and then finish with a run-in over 1000 meters. So here's the ones to watch, perhaps. A mixture of athletes from 7 nations, including the local favourite, Jasmine Lau, who was the top returning athlete, finished 4th 12 months ago in Samarin. Look out as well for the very good British runner, Carrie Hughes, finished 10th last year. And then we have a host of European under-18 and European under-20 champions on the track, including Ireland's Sarah Healy, Delia Sklarbas and Lisa Oud. I remember watching Sklarbas win a double at the first European under-18 championships in Georgia back in 2016. Hasn't run much on the country this year, the Swiss athlete. And there we already have some fallers in the mud. Looks like one of the Italians has gone down. Yes, and one of the French athletes as well. Well, this is a very, very quick start to this race. They're trying to get to one of the sharp corners about 800 metres into this race.
Yes, and so they all want to get a good position so they haven't got to work too hard around this turn, which is coming up fairly quickly. It's quite tight, and then they turn straight towards the water.
Well, it's Blokhuis from the Netherlands up there already, leading the way. Swiss backing together a bit further down the field. Blokhuis, of course, very familiar with this course. She's run here a number of times. The Dutch have a European athletics cross-country permit meeting here, the Waranda Loop, which was this year's test event just 2 weeks ago. Well, already the field is very, very quickly strung out. So we have Blokhuis leading, Sklarbas in second. Cotter of Ireland. 3 Spaniards up there in the top 15.
She mentions Delia Sklarbas, Phil, as we watch the replay of the start where somebody loses their footing. One of those things that happens in cross-country racing. But since the end of the track season, I thought she had a rest, but in fact she's competed at duathlons and aquathlons, so she's already taken a rest. But what a layer! Well, it's 2 types of swimming events, swimming disciplines, but it just goes to show what a layer of conditioning she must have to be an elite level in another sport.
Well, the pace has slowed a little bit after that hectic first few 100 metres. The field is now concertina. We saw up there Amelia Quirk, Julian from France. Also up there, we didn't mention her, but Nadia Battocletti, good finish last year in the junior race. Battocletti finishing well up in 5th position. Well, this race traditionally, I think it's 5 times out of the last 7 in the team titles has been won by Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Have to say that they're the favourites again?
Yes, I would say, but with 3 to score, it opens it up a little bit more than in previous years when it's been 4, or earlier years.
Yes, for a long time the traditional rules were 6 to run, 4 to score, but it was changed 3 to score prior to last year's European cross-country championship. So it's Blokhuis and Battocletti, 1 and 2 at the moment. Having a good run is Gallardo from Spain.
And I have to say Ireland are packing quite well there. We have Cotter, O'Brien, Healy.
Yes, 3 in the top 10 there for Ireland.
And further down the field, Sophie O'Sullivan, daughter of Sonia O'Sullivan.
Celia Gallardo, generally thought of as a 1500-metre runner, made the final of the World Under-20 Championships this year, finished 7th. So useful turn of speed. And the under-20 women's race over just over 4 kilometres. Means that it's the sort of distance which 1,500-metre runners and even 800-metre runners will be comfortable at. Still a very good pace at this stage. So as they go over this double hump, the long stretch, so you can see their lead group of about 1,500 metres. 1,500. There we go, 1,500 metres undertaken in 4:48. 15 women in the lead group and also Kai Malinga. It's Battocletti who's been pushing the pace almost from the gun. A few surprising names there, including Lukan from Serbia, second Spaniard Cristina Ruiz. So 2 seconds covering the leading 17 runners. Just to recap, 89 runners from 24 nations in this particular race. Now Battocletti starting to push the pace at the front, being tracked by Gallardo. Amelia Quirk tracking the leading 2, and now Sarah Healy has moved up to get on the shoulder of Quirk. Battocletti has been pushing it quite hard over the last few hundred metres and once again strung out the leading group. You see the lime green vest, Lukan from Slovenia.
We saw there the team standings after one lap. Don't really read too much into that because there's still a fairly big group, but it's Ireland.
Battocletti had a run out here 2 weeks ago at the Luanda Loop. She finished 11th on that occasion, but I think she's learnt quite a lot from her experiences. Oh, and there's a big, well, slipping over. I think that took down about 3 people there, including Cotter. O'Brien managed to avoid that. Oh no, I think it was Healy who went down there.
I think so. I think Quirk also. Quirk got up very quickly. Healy perhaps not.
I think that's evidence of the slippy conditions. Let's look at it again. Yes, it was Healy who slipped, took down Quirk. And the Turkish runner goes down as well. Well, all 3 of them back on their feet very quickly. Nobody's fault there. Didn't look as though Healy clipped anybody. So it's Battocletti, 3-4 metres lead over Jasmine Lau. Lau 5th in 2016 when she got a team bronze medal with the Netherlands. 4th last year, so very motivated to finally make the podium after just missing out in the last 2 years. Now Battocletti starting to push quite hard. So not far away from the end of the second lap. Looking very comfortable at this stage. Kalkan from Turkey also up there.
I wonder if she realised what had gone on behind her and decided to strike at the same point where others perhaps were covering themselves after that incident.
In first place, it's Nadia Battocletti from Italy. Second place, Jasmine Lau, the Netherlands. Third place.
So Battocletti now starting to ease off after just pushing the pace just a little bit. Jasmine now up there. Scalabas, decked in that headband, gloves, and Kalkan's last cross-country race was in fact on the other side of the Atlantic, halfway around the world in Buenos Aires at the Youth Olympic Games, where she finished 10th. So plenty of water, plenty of rain, and the rain has just started to descend again. So 1,000 meters left, 4:48 and 4:48 unofficially for the two laps. And it's the leading three is Battocletti at the front, as she's been through the vast majority of this race. Jasmine Lau, got plenty of family and friends around the course, and there's a big Holland Hill out there where a lot of the Dutch fans are congregating. The Insi Kulkan, Delia Scalabas. That's the leading four. Amelia Quirk responding to a fall earlier, getting up there.
The water side going for the treatment. We have in the lead of Nadia Battocletti, still in the lead, second place.
So it's Italy, the Netherlands, Turkey, Great Britain, Northern Ireland, Switzerland and Spain. 6 different countries in the top 6, followed by 2 Irish athletes. Sarah Healy responding, and
I think
O'Brien also up there.
I think of those leading contenders, Phil, it's Kalkan that's a surprise.
Met 5 dames binnen de 2 op 3 seconden. Met nog steeds Jasmijn Lau.
Well, at the moment it's an evenly matched team race between Great Britain and the Netherlands.
Met de 3 kleuren op de wangen. Gaat nu naar de leiding. Daar is de Italiaanse Battocletti.
Still having a very good run is Gallardo from Spain. Weren't necessarily expecting her to place quite so highly. So Battocletti now really working hard. About 600-700 meters still to go. Jasmine Lau, Insi Kalkan of Turkey. That's the 1-2-3 at the moment. Turkish supporters alongside, giving Kalkan big cheers. Delia Scalabas getting right up there. Now you can see all of them starting to work hard as Lau takes the lead. And huge cheers around the course. Well, the Dutch have never won a junior women's, under-20 women's gold medal. Jasmine Lau now really starting to stretch it out. 4th last year, and the leading athlete from the Samarin race to come back to Tilburg. Battocletti was 1 place behind her last year. It's looking at this stage as though they're both going to move up onto the podium. Kalkan and Scalabas tracking them. Now a bit of daylight between the leading pair and the Turk and the Swiss runner. And just listen to those roars from the Dutch crowd, urging on Jasmine Lau. So they're coming into the final turn now. But Battocletti's gone past. Suddenly, Jasmine Lau looks starting to struggle, and Delia Scalabas coming from a long way back now. Now that they can see the finish line coming into sight. It's Nadia Battocletti from Italy, Delia Scalabas from Switzerland. Lau suddenly starting to look very, very tired. About 160 meters into the home straight now. Battocletti can feel the gold medal almost being hung around her neck. Maria Battocletti from Italy takes the first gold medal here in Tilburg, followed home by Delia Scalabas, Insi Kalkan, and Jasmine Lau just misses out, 4th again for the Dutch runner. 13:46 over this 4,300 meter course, 5th last year, Nadia Battocletti. I think I called her Maria a couple of times. Nadia Battocletti takes the gold medal for Italy.
And you have to feel sorry for Jasmine Lau, although she didn't do anything wrong. She was in the right place at the right time. She didn't have legs at the finish. But what a great tactical race by Battocletti. She made a move, she broke up the race in mid-race, she took the sting out of the finishes of the likes of Delia Sklabas, and then she struck again at the start of the home straight.
Yeah, we saw pictures there. Jasmine Lau, bitterly disappointed, off the podium again. But I think, subject to confirmation, that she may get on the podium with a team title. And now the emotion of being a European champion starts to ebb through Nadia Battocletti. Deserved winner for Italy. There we see the Irish team. We'll get confirmation of the team standings. No obvious winner at the moment. But big hugs though. There's the Italian team. And Battocletti managed to avoid all the problems that took out the likes of Sarah Healy. Here we see that tumble when Healy went down and took Amelia Quirk and another of the Turkish runners. This is what we thought was maybe a decisive break by Jasmine Lau. She really worked hard from about 3,500 meters, but Maria Battocletti had enough in her legs to be able to go through the gears and come home in front. Well, outstanding run from the young Italian. There we see it, delight etched across her face. Sklabas, well, terrific run from the Swiss athlete, and a big surprise, Kalkan coming through for third. Well, the Turkish under-20 women have had great successes in the past. But the plaudits today go to Nadia Battocletti. And just looking down my notes, I think she's the very first Italian women's under-20 champion.
Well, I think it's better than that. I think she's the first ever Italian women individual medalist.
Confirmation of the leading results there. Battocletti winning. Sklabas, Kalkan, Lau, Quirk, Gallardo. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kai Malinga, 11th last year, now 7th this year. So 2 British and 2 Irish athletes in the top 9 there. Just doing the quick arithmetic. I think it looks like Britain and Northern Ireland takes gold once again.
Ireland, yes. Great Britain and Northern Ireland, yes.
I'm really intrigued to see how a mountain running specialist like that can negotiate this course, and as it unfolds and that hill comes in.
Well, historically the British have always done well in the team competitions. As we look here at the course profile, 2 short laps of about 500 metres, followed by 2 long laps of about 1,500 metres. The British team, and I'm going to bring your husband into this. I mean, he's coaching a few of the athletes. Let's get the expert advice, and there we go. There's some of the 5 top athletes as chosen by our host broadcasters. Would that confirm who you think should be up there?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole slew of European junior medalists from various events on the track and the returning ones to this race today. And just another word on the course. These junior women are starting with 2 short laps of 500 metres, and I'm nervous about this. It's tight turns. They're really not going to spread out much by the time they're negotiating some really tough turns. So I really am going to be holding my breath around some of these corners and hoping they can all get through unscathed.
Well, and of course, progressively over the course of the day, even though it's dry conditions, the course will cut up as well. It will get a little bit more slippery, and the turns will get a little bit more treacherous as the day goes on. Well, it's unfolding. 93 competitors from 27 countries in this race. And it's Dudek of Portugal who won the 3,000 metres in Boras. She's at high school in the United States and then comes backwards and forwards across Europe whenever there's a major competition. I think
Delia Sklabas there, I saw training on the course yesterday, and she was running that section from the trees down to the finish again and again, doing reps. because it is quite confusing, and I think that might what happened with Ingebrigtsen, because you can see both the start and the finish funnels in the same place, and sometimes it's confusing to remember which is which.
Well, we can see at this early stage of the race, it is Nadia Battocletti who has a very, very good finish, leading the way at the moment. Machado of Portugal up there, Dudek of Poland, Schlabas out on the far side, close to the barriers of Switzerland. So most of the main protagonists there. As you were saying, that is a very tight corner, and I think there was a few women there who were having a few problems getting around it. They were squashed against that inside line.
No, this is it's going to be a lot of tactics in this first kilometre, and we might see people kind of squeezed out the back of these groups and maybe not even have the time to get back up where you'd expect them to finish. We do, however, have two long laps with some good open running, so you'd hope they can get themselves back up there.
And we did see a few people come through from quite a way back in the under-20 men's race, in particular Gidai. He didn't start at all prominently, one would say. There we see the first split of 625 metres. Ancala Vicchiosa there, the daughter of Isaac Vicchiosa, former European champion, and her sister was also running last year in these championships, so family with good genes there. Ancala Vicchiosa, one of the Spanish team, Spanish hoping that they can get back into team medals on this occasion. As we scroll down there, Lucan, the Slovenian, well, I think she just got caught slightly with that very aggressive first, let's just say 800 metres, Lucan, but she's worked her way through over the course of the last 200 metres to get up there. We've also got Trapp of France. Up there. And Izzy Fry out on the far left-hand side of your screen, the Briton, one of the, as we were saying, very strong British team. Manon Trapp up there in about 8th position at the moment. She finished back in 7th at the European under-20 3,000 metres, but she's had a very good winter on the French cross-country circuit and won the very good, strong Créteil cross-country race just on the outskirts of Paris. There we see after the first lap, Great Britain in front at the moment. First scorer, I think, well, we've got Saskia Millard up there.
Yeah, no, Saskia Millard is a second-year medical student from University of Birmingham, coached by my husband, so I know too much. But yeah, no, it's great.
You know enough.
I know enough, but yeah, she won the British trials. So that's often an indication that you can go on to perform quite well at this race. But we've touched on the calibre, the depth in this race is really, really tremendous, and I don't think we'll see the dominance we have in some years of the British team.
I make it 3 British runners, nevertheless, in the top 12, and then just a little way back to, I think it's Olivia Mason. We'll just get confirmation of that. Megan Keith also up there showing well. Amelia Samuels. Vicchiosa, we mentioned her earlier, just slipping back a little bit at this stage. It's already starting to string out. I mean, it's strung out a lot quicker than it did in the under-20 men's race.
No, absolutely it did, and perhaps that was the 2 short, flatter laps, sort of allowing it to spread out a bit, and now we're really going to see sort of the true nature of the field as they come up this climb for the first time.
Italy and Switzerland at the moment just behind Great Britain and Northern Ireland in the team standings. Host Portugal just a little bit further back in 5th place as we scroll through all the nations with competing teams in this competition. At this stage, all the leading athletes looking pretty comfortable. There's a slight gap occurring between the top 6 and then back to, I think it's Megan Keith in 7th place now at the moment. Nice overhead shot here. As I was saying, we are very much in the centre of Portugal.
And all 4 of those 5 leading women are all reigning European under-20 champions with very active distances. The only one who isn't is Portugal's great hope, Mariana Machado, and she's a silver medalist behind Dudek in the 3,000 metres.
Yes, I mean, in that 3,000 metres, of course, Machado did get felled about halfway into that race at about 1,300 metres. She did pick herself up very quickly, it has to be said. But Dudek, I think, was a bit of a surprise in those championships. It was certainly a surprise to me. Perhaps Polish athletics fans would disagree with me, but Dudek has come on and shown, I mean, just in these early stages of the race, that she's running extremely well.
You see, Sklarbas has a absolutely phenomenal range from 800 up to the longer distances, and I think she looks pretty good to me today. She's biding her time and just staying out of trouble.
So we've got the leading 5 there, with Battocletti leading, Machado of Portugal, Kuvan of Slovenia, Dudek of Poland. Dubek just slipping back a little bit there. She just lost her footing very slightly, and Delia Sklarbas was super talented. And she's also a virtuoso musician as well, so she's got quite a range of talents, not just a running talent. So these 5 starting to break away a little bit at the moment.
I think it's tremendously interesting that we have all the defending champions in every race today, and to maybe see how they handle that pressure. And obviously it didn't seem to affect Jakob Ingebrigtsen one bit, but you know, it's going to be confidence coming in and remembering what you did the year before, but there's also an element of pressure these athletes are going to be carrying from last year. And Battocletti doesn't look like it's phasing her so far, but you know, as the race unwinds, it might be interesting to see. You know, she's front running, she's putting her stall out there. Is that because she's confident or because of pressure?
Well, it's looking now that a gap's growing between the leading 5 and then the 2 Britons following them at about 20 and 30 metres. So it's Izzy Fry and 7th place. Megan Keith, I think, is in 7th place, just looking down the line there. But it's these leading 5 at the moment. We're about halfway into this race, starting to make quite an impact on the rest of the field, and it is Battocletti. Well, they're coming down the hill here. It looks as though Dudek is having a little bit of problems. Arm action, swinging side to side. She doesn't look quite as comfortable. We need to pick out one of that leading 5.
I mean, people say, you know, running downhill is easy, but not hills like this. These are extreme hills, and I think there will be some technique coming in, particularly in this next section. It's going to come up a slight rise here, and then the drop down now is really quite severe, and I think a lot of athletes find that very hard to cope with.
Shoe and spike selection, what would be your choice?
Oh, I'd say this is probably a 9mm day. There's some slightly heavier sections, particularly in the start and the finish straight, and it's soft enough to take a 9mm, but you're not going to need a 12mm spike on this.
Well, looking there, we had Papenfuss in the opening presentation, and also Schneider's there. The German's not showing at the moment with 1 lap to go.
Well, funny enough, I was just looking for Schneider's myself, because she was the one reigning champion that's not visible.
So we're back at the front there. Dudek seems to have caught a 2nd win. Compared to the much more diminutive figures of the women alongside her, Machado, Battocletti, Sklarback and Lucan.
I think perhaps we're going to see some of the home advantage here. We know that the Portuguese athletes have had a chance to race on this course before, and to me, this section now, you're going to come uphill now for another sort of, I don't know, maybe 600, 800 metres. I think this is the pinnacle tactical moment. This is when you're going to make or break your race and put the pressure on the other athletes.
Just looking as we scroll through there, roughly the top 20. Mateve back in about 14th. Fuller, the very good German, well, we thought she was going to show a bit more prominently. She's in 15th, and Megan Keith, after showing very well in the first half of the race, slipping back. But Great Britain and Northern Ireland still in front in the team competition with, well, 1.5 kilometres to go. 1 more long lap still to go.
Well, the Italian ladies in this race are not far behind Great Britain there on the team score, and yeah, a lot could change in this last lap.
One interesting thing I've just noticed, although we didn't see her on screen, 9th place Greta Varga of Hungary, the youngest competitor here. She's only 15, so she's running well above expectations.
So now Machado looking as though she's actually making a bit of a move here and surging. She's grimacing. Battocletti covering it. Sklarbass now clearly starting to struggle a little bit. Dudek having come through what appeared to be a slightly bad patch. He's alongside Lucan. Nothing really to choose between the first 4, but Sklarbass starting to drop back. Dudek, I don't think Dudek likes the hills, but on the flats and on the downhills, she seems to be picking up the pace a lot. Dudek just slipping back. Sklarbass now clearly starting to drift out of contention. Machado has clearly wound that up over the course of the last few 100 metres, but Battocletti covering everything. Battocletti looking as though She really is not going to give up that gold medal without a big fight. Machado, terrific win though, only 19 years of age, and she beat a whole host of top African athletes at one of the top Spanish cross-country meetings last month.
No, this looks like a really deliberate move for me from Machado. Like she's trying to empty everyone's tank at the top of this hill, and then it's who can hold their legs on the downhill. And I think it's a smart tactic, because you've got to drop some of these other girls. You don't want to bring someone like Schlabers into a sprint finish, not with a 2:01 800-meter PB. You don't want to be contending that on the home straight. You want to burn them off before you get there.
Well, it just crossed my mind earlier in the race. I mean, Schlabers is a super talented athlete, that goes without saying. But I was just thinking, this is not going to be the course for her because of the things that we talked about in terms of the mountain running. She, as far as I'm aware, prefers much flatter courses. And Tilburg was a flat course. There wasn't much undulation there last year when she got the silver medal. Yes, it was sticky underfoot and it was heavy going underfoot. But I've got the feeling that hills aren't her forte. As we look now, well, Dudak now, quite a bit of distance starting to appear between Dudak and the leading three. And it's Battocletti now, having just worked her way around Machado now. So Battocletti, probably about just over 500 metres of running still to go. That was a very deliberate move from Machado, and it's certainly separated her from the people behind her, but it's now Battocletti. Father, of course, Giuliano Battocletti. He was a European junior medalist back in the 90s and competed internationally for Italy. Finished, I think, as high as in the top 20 at one of the world crosses back in, I think, the early 2000s. So now Battocletti she's seen her opportunity and moved to the front. And Machado, well, she definitely, the wheels have come off just a little bit. Lucan has edged round her.
But you'd hope Machado's effort there has run herself into an individual medal, which is tremendous for her home championships.
It looks as though it's going to be the case. We saw that, although Aslihan came through very strongly in the final 500 metres. So they're now just starting to come down the hill at the far end of this park, and then they'll turn into the home straight. There you can see the main area, which includes the start and finish areas, and it's Battocletti now. She's about 150 metres away from the line, so Nadia Battocletti looks as though she's on her way to retaining her Spa European cross-country title. Nadia Battocletti is going to win for Italy. Nadia Battocletti takes gold here in Lisbon. Silver goes to Lucan of Slovenia. And then a long way back, but getting the cheers. It's going to be Mariana Machado, the first medal for Portugal in an individual race here in Lisbon.
You see a fast sprint finish between the girls, the fourth and fifth there. What a tight race. And like I said, you don't want to bring Schlabers into a finishing straight sprint there. And here we get started looking on this team result perhaps between Great Britain and Italy. Yeah, and Saskia Millard there losing some crucial team spots on the line there. Let's see what the effect that has on the overall result.
Good run from Izzy Fry in 6th place for Great Britain, Northern Ireland though. And then Saskia Miller, as you say, slipping back to 11th. Natavi of Italy pulled up a couple of places. We have Amelia Samuels just in front of us. So 10th is Samuels, 11 Matabe, the world under-20 mountain running champion, as the rest of the athletes come through the finish line. These are the women finishing in the 20s and the 30s, and there's still a lot of runners still to come.
So that was a reversal of the result of the 5,000 metres, I think, at the European Under-20 Championships, where the Slovenia won the gold from Battocletti.
Yes, I mean, Battocletti clearly thrives on the country. She was a bit of a surprise 12 months ago. I mean, she had some domestic credentials, but she certainly, I think, was not considered to be probably one of the gold medal contenders, but now she's really consolidated her reputation as a out-and-out cross-country runner who's definitely got some track pedigree as well.
But I'm so pleased for Podium, because that's their first medal since 2013, subject to the junior result that we're still checking.
Yes, we're getting a bit of mixed messages on that, but we'll give you an update on the team competition in the under-20 men's race there. We're seeing a bit of jogging around of the positions. Well, it's looking as though Italy may just have edged it from, well, having said that, we're, again, mixed messages. We're seeing unofficially equal points between Italy and Great Britain, Northern Ireland. France look as though they're very much confirmed in the bronze medal positions, led home by Manon Trapp, who we saw at various stages in that race, finishing 9th. And they had 2 other women in the top 20. As we just look at a recap of the race, and this is the finishing straight. And Nadia Battocletti coming through to retain her Spa European cross-country title.
And for me there, I think Machado actually did her a bit of a favour breaking that race apart, because Lucan was finishing faster and she looked strong, but I think she got detached in that really hard effort we saw in that last lap from the Portuguese athlete.
There doesn't look as though much left for Machado as she comes through the lines. I think she's done everything that she could have done. And as you say, Owen, it's always great to see a host nation standing on the podium. It just provides a little bit of extra impetus to the championships.
We've got a lot of spectators out here as well.
There we see the confirmed standings. Nadia Battocletti confirmed as the winner by 3 seconds from Clara Lucan of Slovenia, Mariana Machado taking bronze, and then Sklabas of Switzerland, Dudek of Poland, and Fry of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. That completes the top 6. As we run down, perhaps picking out a couple of the other names. Saskia Millard, 11th. We talked about her during the course of the race. Mateve confirmed in 13th place. Pappenfuss, expecting her perhaps to show a bit higher, and Schneiders as well, 2 Germans in 20th and 23rd place.